Have you ever noticed how your knees seem to have a mind of their own first thing in the morning? You swing your legs out of bed, take that first step, and there it is, that sharp, stiff ache that makes you pause. You tell yourself, I just need to move around a bit. And sure enough, after a few minutes, it eases up. But deep down, you start to wonder, why does this keep happening every single morning? Here's something most people don't realize. That morning knee pain isn't just a random sign of getting older. It's your body trying to tell you something very specific about your joints, your muscles, and even how you sleep. And the good news? You can actually fix it, naturally. No endless pills, no painful injections, and no expensive treatments. Just simple science-backed changes that can help your knees feel years younger. Because here's the truth. What happens inside your knees while you sleep plays a much bigger role than you think. And once you understand it, you'll know exactly how to wake up without that painful stiffness. So, what's really going on inside those joints overnight? Let's start with the hidden reason behind that morning ache, something doctors call the morning gel effect.
Every night while you sleep, your body does something miraculous. It goes into full repair mode. Your breathing slows, your blood pressure drops, and your body finally gets the rest it's been craving all day. But there's one part that doesn't benefit quite as much from all that stillness: your knees. See, your knees were designed for movement. Every time you take a step, bend, or stretch, a natural fluid inside them, called synovial fluid, moves around and keeps everything running smoothly. It's your body's built-in joint oil, keeping the cartilage soft and the bones from grinding against each other. But here's the catch. When you lie still for 7 or 8 hours at night, that movement stops. And without motion, that precious joint fluid starts to thicken. It goes from silky smooth to sluggish and sticky, a bit like honey that's been sitting in the fridge. Doctors have a name for this: the morning gel effect. It's that stiff, creaky feeling you get when you first stand up and take those hesitant steps toward the bathroom. Your knees feel heavy, almost glued in place. It's not your imagination, it's science. What's really happening is that your joints are trying to move through a thick gel that formed overnight, and it takes several minutes of gentle movement to warm up that fluid again, turning it back into the smooth lubricant your knees need. That's why so many people say, it's worst in the morning, but once I get moving, it's fine. But here's something that surprises most people. This morning stiffness isn't a disease. It's actually a signal. Your knee's way of saying, hey, I've been idle too long. The problem is, as we age, our body produces less and less synovial fluid. The fluid we do have becomes thinner and less effective, kind of like old motor oil that no longer protects the engine. Combine that with years of wear on the cartilage, that smooth, rubbery layer between your bones, and suddenly, the morning gel effect hits harder and lasts longer. This is why people in their 20s or 30s might feel a little stiff in the morning, but seniors often feel real pain. It's not just tight muscles, it's reduced cushioning, less lubrication, and aging tissue that can't bounce back as fast as it used to. And if you've ever noticed that the pain is worse on cold or rainy mornings, you're not alone. Lower temperatures actually make synovial fluid even thicker. That's why the weather seems to predict your knee pain before you even step out of bed. Now the good news, this morning stiffness isn't permanent damage. In fact, your knees can adapt beautifully once you start giving them what they need: gentle movement, warmth, and hydration. A few simple habits can get that fluid flowing again and make mornings much easier. But before we talk about those solutions, there's another piece to the puzzle that most people overlook: the slow, invisible breakdown of cartilage that happens quietly over time. It's the reason some people's pain fades in minutes, while others struggle for hours. And once you understand that part, everything about your knee pain will finally make sense.
Now that we've uncovered the morning gel effect, it's time to look at the part of your knees that does most of the heavy lifting, the cartilage. Think of cartilage as a shock absorber. Every time you walk, climb stairs, or stand up from a chair, it cushions the impact between your thigh bone and shin bone. When it's healthy, it's smooth, slippery, and strong, almost like polished glass. But as we age, that smooth surface starts to wear down, little by little, year after year. And here's the thing, this doesn't happen overnight. You don't wake up one day with worn cartilage. It's been quietly thinning for decades. Tiny cracks develop, the surface roughens, and before you know it, that easy glide you once had turns into a painful grind. Doctors call this degenerative joint wear, or more commonly, osteoarthritis. And while that word might sound scary, it simply means that the cushion between your bones isn't what it used to be. Now, imagine this. Two wooden chairs rubbing against each other with no pad in between. You can hear the squeak, you can feel the friction, and over time the edges wear down. That's exactly what's happening inside your knees when cartilage breaks down. Each morning, when you first stand up, your cartilage, already a bit thinner, is dry and stiff from hours of stillness. It hasn't been nourished by fresh synovial fluid yet. So when you put weight on it first thing, your bones press harder against that rough surface, creating that sharp, achy sensation that shoots through the joint. That's why the pain often feels worst right after waking, before your knees have had time to wake up too. And there's more. Cartilage doesn't have its own blood supply. It relies entirely on movement to get nutrients. Each time you bend your knee, fresh oxygen and nutrients are pushed into the tissue, keeping it alive. When you're inactive, especially sitting for long periods or lying still all night, that process stops. The result? Your cartilage slowly weakens. But here's the part that's truly unfair. Your body doesn't send out a warning signal until it's already struggling. You might go years with subtle wear, thinking it's nothing serious. Then, one morning, out of nowhere, the pain becomes part of your daily life. The good news, cartilage damage doesn't mean hopeless knees. While cartilage can't fully regrow, your body can strengthen the surrounding muscles and improve lubrication, reducing the load and restoring smoother motion. Studies show that even gentle, consistent movement can dramatically slow cartilage wear and ease morning pain. And if you've ever wondered why one knee hurts more than the other, it's often because that knee has carried more weight over the years. Maybe it's your dominant leg, or maybe an old injury made you favor one side. Over time, that imbalance quietly speeds up the wear process. So the question is, if the cushion between your bones is wearing thin, what's happening to the muscles and tendons that were built to support it? Because those supporting structures are just as important, and when they weaken, every step becomes a little more painful. Let's dig into that next.
If your cartilage is the cushion of your knees, then your muscles and tendons are the cables and pulleys that keep everything aligned. They hold your kneecap in place, control how your leg bends, and absorb shock every time your foot hits the ground. But here's what many people don't realize. As we age, those supportive structures, especially the quadriceps, hamstrings, and hip muscles, start to weaken little by little. And when they do, the knees are left to handle more of the work alone. Think of your muscles as the suspension system of a car. If one spring weakens, the wheels take on more pressure and the ride gets rough. That's exactly what happens when your thigh and hip muscles lose strength. Your knees start absorbing more impact than they should. Now add in another factor, tight tendons. The tendons around your knees, like the patellar and quadriceps tendons, connect muscle to bone. When these become stiff or shortened from years of sitting or inactivity, they pull unevenly on the joint. That tug changes how your knee moves, forcing it slightly out of its natural alignment every time you walk, stand, or climb stairs. It might start as a dull ache, then progress into that deep, grinding pain you feel each morning. And for many seniors, the problem isn't just weakness, it's imbalance. Maybe your right leg carries more weight when you stand. Maybe an old ankle sprain or hip issue changed how you walk. Over the years, those small imbalances slowly shift the stress to one side of your knees, wearing down cartilage faster on that side. That's why some people say, my left knee is fine, but my right one always hurts. It's not random. It's the result of subtle muscle imbalances that have built up over time. Now here's another truth that doesn't get talked about enough. As muscle tone decreases with age, circulation also drops. And with less blood flow, the tissues around your knees don't get the oxygen and nutrients they need. The result? Inflammation lingers longer and your joints stay swollen and tender. But don't worry, this part of the story comes with a silver lining, because out of everything that affects your knee pain, muscle strength is the one thing you can absolutely change. Even small, gentle exercises, the kind you can do right in bed before standing up, can reawaken those muscles, boost circulation, and bring your knees back into better balance. For example, gently tightening your thigh muscles while lying down, called quad sets, slowly straightening one leg at a time while seated, leg raises, light stretches for your hamstrings before getting out of bed. Each tiny movement acts like a mini wake-up call for your joints. Within weeks, people often notice their morning stiffness easing, their steps feeling lighter, and that first movement of the day becoming much less painful. Because the truth is, your knees don't just need rest, they need support. And when your muscles, tendons, and circulation are all working together again, that painful grind starts to fade. But that's only half the story. There's something else happening deep inside your joints that plays a huge role in morning pain, and it's often overlooked. It's your body's very own lubrication system, and once it starts slowing down, even the healthiest muscles can't stop the stiffness from coming back. So, let's talk about that next.
Now, let's go even deeper, into the part of your knees that almost nobody thinks about, but absolutely determines how you feel every morning: your joint lubrication system. Inside every healthy knee joint, there's a small but powerful fluid called synovial fluid. It's your body's natural lubricant, clear, slightly thick, and full of nutrients that keep your cartilage smooth and protected. Think of it as your knee's personal oil change system. Every time you move, that fluid circulates, coating the cartilage and carrying oxygen and nutrients to the parts of your joint that don't get direct blood flow. It's what keeps everything gliding without friction. But here's the problem. When you're not moving, that system slows down dramatically. Overnight, while you're still, synovial fluid just sits there. It cools, it thickens, it loses that easy, slippery texture that makes movement pain-free. So when you take your first step in the morning, your knees are like an engine that's been sitting in the cold all night. The oil has thickened, and everything feels stiff until it warms up. That's why, for so many people, those first few steps out of bed feel like walking on rusty hinges. You shuffle, you stretch, maybe even hold on to the dresser for balance. Then, after a few minutes of gentle motion, something magical happens. The stiffness fades, the fluid warms, and the pain eases up. But as we age, this natural lubrication system starts to slow down permanently. Your body produces less synovial fluid, and what it does make becomes thinner and less nourishing. Without that healthy coating, cartilage starts to dry out and the bones feel more of each other's friction. In fact, doctors have found that people over 60 often produce up to 50% less synovial fluid than they did in their younger years. Combine that with decreased muscle movement and hydration, and your knees are left running almost dry. And here's the kicker. Dehydration plays a huge role too. Synovial fluid is made mostly of water, so if you're not drinking enough throughout the day, your joints can literally lose their cushion. That's why even mild dehydration can make joint pain worse overnight and in the early morning.
If you've ever woken up feeling especially stiff after a hot day or salty dinner, that's your body's way of saying, I'm running low on lubrication. The good news? You can restore the system, naturally. You don't need injections or expensive treatments. Just small, consistent habits that encourage your body to make and circulate more of this miracle fluid. Here's how. Stay hydrated. Aim to drink a glass of water before bed and again when you wake up. Even mild hydration boosts synovial fluid viscosity. Add gentle movement early. Rotate your ankles, flex your knees, or do a few slow stretches in bed to get the fluid moving. Eat joint-loving foods. Omega-3 rich fish, olive oil, bone broth, and vitamin C all help nourish your joint lining and stimulate natural lubrication. Stay warm. Joints stiffen faster in cold environments. Keeping your legs warm overnight, especially during cooler months, helps your synovial fluid stay flexible. Once you start doing these small things, you'll notice a difference, not just in how your knees move, but in how they feel. You'll start waking up with less stiffness, easier steps, and fewer of those creaks that used to slow you down. But we're not done yet, because while hydration and lubrication help your knees glide, there's something else that can transform your mornings, something you can do right in your own home without a doctor's visit or a single pill. I'm talking about natural, senior-friendly exercises and daily habits that retrain your knees to move the way they were meant to. And once you start doing them, the change can be life-changing.
Here's the truth. You don't need to run marathons, lift weights, or join an expensive gym to take care of your knees. In fact, for most seniors, doing less, but doing it smarter, is what makes the biggest difference. Because your knees don't just need rest, they need the right kind of movement. Movement that tells your joints, hey, it's time to wake up, without putting them through unnecessary strain. Let's start with what you can do before you even get out of bed. While you're still lying down, take a few deep breaths and gently tighten your thigh muscles. Hold for 5 seconds, then relax. Do this 5 to 10 times. This simple move, called a quad set, starts circulating blood to your knees and wakes up the muscles that stabilize the joint. Next, try slow leg raises. Keeping one leg straight and the other bent, lift your straight leg just a few inches off the bed, hold for a moment, then slowly lower it. Switch legs. You'll feel your thighs engage and your knee loosen a little more with each repetition. Then, when you sit on the edge of your bed, take a moment to roll your ankles and flex your knees back and forth. Think of it like jump-starting your joints, getting that synovial fluid moving before you even take your first step. Now you're ready to stand. But here's where many people make a mistake. They stand up too quickly, putting all their weight on stiff knees. Instead, pause for a moment, plant your feet, and press up gently using your leg muscles, not your hands. Feel the motion. Let your knees support you naturally. Once you're standing, try this. Take a short walk around your room or down the hallway, just 60 seconds. That light movement pumps fresh fluid through your joints and helps the cartilage soak up the lubrication it needs to glide smoothly for the rest of the day. And as you go about your morning, brushing your teeth, making coffee, or feeding the dog, try standing tall, engaging your thighs slightly, and keeping your knees soft, never locked. These tiny adjustments build stability and reduce strain. Now, if you want to take it further, here are a few senior-safe exercises that can make a big difference over time. Seated marching. Sit in a sturdy chair and slowly lift one knee, then the other, as if you're marching. This strengthens your hips and thighs without putting pressure on your joints. Heel slides. Sit or lie down, then slowly slide your heel toward your body and back out again. It gently stretches the muscles behind the knee. Wall sits. Stand with your back against the wall, slide down just a few inches, not all the way, and hold for 10 to 15 seconds. This activates the big muscles that protect your knees, your quads, and glutes. Step-ups. If you have a low, sturdy step, gently step up and down, alternating legs. It's one of the best ways to retrain balance and build strength. You don't need to do all of them. Just pick one or two to start. The goal isn't perfection.
The goal is consistency. Because every small movement, every gentle stretch, every short walk adds up. Within a few weeks, you'll notice your knees feeling stronger, your steps smoother, and those first few minutes of morning pain starting to fade away. And while exercise is the foundation, there are a few simple daily habits that can help your progress even faster. Stay hydrated. Remember, synovial fluid depends on water. Keep your legs warm. Warmth increases circulation and reduces stiffness. Maintain a healthy weight. Even losing 5 pounds can take 20 pounds of pressure off each knee. Watch your posture. How you sit and stand affects how your knees align. Get enough sleep. Your body does most of its joint repair at night. Think of these not as restrictions, but as small gifts to yourself. Ways to help your knees thank you every morning with less pain and more movement. Because here's the most important part. Your knees aren't broken. They're just asking for care. And once you start giving them what they need, your body responds beautifully, no matter your age. But before we wrap up, let's pull everything together. The causes, the science, and the solutions. And end with one simple truth about your morning knee pain that can change the way you start your day forever.
So, now that you know the truth behind those aching knees every morning, doesn't it all make a little more sense? It's not just age catching up with you. It's a mix of small, natural changes. The thickening of that joint fluid, the slow wear of cartilage, the weakening of supportive muscles, and the drop in circulation that happens while you sleep. Your knees aren't trying to punish you. They're simply trying to wake up, just like you are. Every twinge, every stiffness, every slow first step, it's your body's way of saying, hey, I need a little help here. And the good news, that help doesn't have to come from pills or surgery. It comes from you. Just a bit of movement before getting out of bed. A little more hydration throughout the day. Gentle stretching, light exercise, and awareness of how you stand, sit, and rest. These small, consistent choices are what rebuild your body's rhythm, reactivating the lubrication in your joints, strengthening the muscles that protect them, and slowly restoring the smooth, easy motion you thought you'd lost. Because your knees don't want to hurt, they just want to move. And once you start giving them that chance, your mornings begin to change. You'll wake up feeling lighter. You'll stand up with more confidence. And one morning, without even realizing it, you'll take that first step, and there won't be any pain at all. That's the moment you'll know you've taken back control. So the next time you feel that familiar ache as you get out of bed, don't get discouraged. Smile a little, because now you understand why it's happening, and more importantly, how to fix it naturally. Your knees have carried you through an incredible life. Every step, every memory, every adventure. And with just a little care, they'll keep carrying you for many more years to come. Take care of them, and they'll take care of you. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Senior Wellness Tips, where every week we share more natural, science-backed ways to help you live stronger, feel younger, and stay active no matter your age. Because you deserve mornings that feel good again.